with that?
No, I would differ on that because the purpose of enacting this law has been to act as a deterrent, because the problem had become so widespread and practically in every family, save maybe 1% or 2%, dowry had become a system part and parcel in the very roots of our society. So this is why the government had implemented this section to act as a deterrent and to give people a stringent punishment so that they would not take the shelter of vague laws and say we are not covered under so and so section and so and so section, so this is not applicable to us. However, on the point raised by my friend here regarding the aspect of counseling, yes, counselors are most welcome to deal with a marriage, but that would be only regarding the differences between the compatibility level, if that can be settled. Counselors could not settle the issue of dowry, because that in fact is a crime. The demand for dowry is a crime. So there has to be a law basically to enforce the fact that dowry demands they should be a deterrent, and the dowry demands are not made. So on this aspect certainly there would be. And secondly, I mean, since the enactment of the Domestic Violence Act from October 2006, women don't really need to go and register a case, get a case registered under the Dowry Prohibition Act or under 498A. They can go under the Domestic Violence Act, and it's a very strong act. If she is facing any kind of abuse by her husband or her children are facing any abuse, we have a very strong act in hand. So why would a woman go and make a false complaint just to get the entire family of the husband just grilled under 498A? She doesn't even need to do that any longer. We have a strong...
No, that was the whole point. Why have 498A if we anyway have such a strong domestic law?
We have a strong domestic law under the Domestic Violence Act. Fact remains, the demand of dowry is still there, and the people who are giving dowry are equally at fault. And yes, they should be punished to set an example for the rest of the society. That we have evolved a lot. We are living in a civilized society now. It's time people stop giving dowry and people stop receiving it too. It's both ways. Both are at fault. Even the people who are giving dowry, even who are taking dowry.
You know, when you say that they are at fault when you're giving dowry, okay, yes, being fair, it isn't, but being a woman, or, you know, the whole psyche, the way it works for India at least, is that women have to be happy in their homes, so just be there. If they ask you for a little money, we'll give you that, but just be happy. You think that mindset is still prevailing?
Okay, here, more than the couple who's getting married, I think it's the parents of the girls who need to be counseled first. It's the parents of the girls who have to get this out of their minds, that they just get the daughter married, get rid of her, give her that dowry, or they may put it as Sridhan. Sridhan also becomes a kind of dowry because that's taken by the in-laws in many cases. In some cases it's not. I'm not saying everybody is bad. There are some cases who would not touch the Sridhan, but even that is later on termed as dowry. If people are going to educate their daughters, they are standing on their own feet. Why should all this issue actually come up? Why should the parents even think they need to give dowry to get their daughter married in a rich family? Why are they doing it then?
Let's get Mr. Bhupinder Singh at this. What do you feel? Do you feel that there has to be a whole change in a mindset? Are laws just there to protect them? How do we take it forward? Because we don't seem to be, the numbers are increasing. I mean, there doesn't seem to be much change.
You know, so far as the demand and giving of dowry goes, that's of course covered under 498A, but now you also have the Domestic Violence Act. But going back to the former, you will also find n number of cases which have come up to us for registration and subsequent investigation, where the marriage has taken place maybe 5 years, 10 years, even 20 years back, and suddenly you know, the lady wakes up and says that, look, I'm now being tortured because of dowry. They've got children, in some cases they've got grandchildren, and this is what comes up. So obviously any law to prevent its misuse must come with certain riders. Now when it was first enacted, perhaps there was the society was at a certain level, as Vandana was saying, but I think over the last maybe this was in 1983, so it's already 27 or 28 years gone by, and there has been a tremendous change in our society. our middle class numbers have exploded beyond what one could have imagined that many years back. So clearly there is a need to have a relook at that act and see that and learn from the experience of its misuse and see how it can be changed. While yes, of course, there is absolutely the need to protect women.
So the cases going against, I mean, because it's such a male-dominated society, so you still feel that women, in spite of going out to work and in spite of the exposure they're getting now, more education for them, you still feel they need that protection far more than men?
Yes, they do. But at the same time, I think it needs to be sort of come with certain riders to ensure that it doesn't go in for misuse. And I mean, like they say that this is extremely gender biased. It leads to blackmail, extortion. The Supreme Court has also said that it's legal terrorism.
Yeah.
And it's also presumptive in the sense that the husband and his family is presumed to be guilty. And then you have a whole lot of women's organizations which will always pressurize the police, the judiciary. When somebody goes up for bail, the judge, it's for fear of being accused by the media or by the public or by anybody else that of being in favor of the men. Say all right, I won't give you bail.
Yeah, but Vandana, what would you say? Till you're presumed guilty. I mean, the man is presumed. I mean, the law is anti-men.
Actually, these are all social stereotypes. I mean, why more mother-in-laws are prosecuted? Because there is a certain stereotype associated with mother-in-laws. Mothers-in-law.
I'll just defer
stereotypes
with I will just defer with her because this is what I was going to come to. The convictions of the mother-in-law are far more because factually speaking, in most of the cases, it's not the husband who has been making the demand, it's the mother-in-law who has been making the demand, and they do it. Let's face it. I have been to interior Punjab, I have been to interior Haryana. They do make demands till date. No matter whatever rung of the society they are part of, they do. The husband is actually the poor victim because his marital life is also at stake, and here he is under the pressure of his mother also because she's the one making the demand. He can't fight back.
Okay.
He can't fight back. There is certain data to prove what I'm trying to say. By January 2010, in Punjab, Haryana, Himachal, and Chandigarh alone, 1,25,000 cases under 498A and Domestic Violence Act have been registered. And the conviction rate in these cases is 3 to 4%. So there is a huge difference.
Yeah. Yes.
And this difference, this gap reflects at this social stereotypes.
Yeah, yeah.
In a changing society, I mean, we are a society in a cusp. So we must understand that everybody is changing. This is what I said earlier also, and that's why the law has also recognized this. That's why now
the Law Commission has put it in.
The Law Commission has put it, or they don't.
Yeah. But Jagdeep, getting back on the misuse of law, I mean, after all, it is misused. Then what? Because there is no law for men.
No, are we talking about giving men a law under which they can be protected?
Yes.
Then they can actually move the parliament. Some Anna Hazare can come and they can ask for the amendment of the Domestic Violence Act to be written at men or women who is being harassed during marriage. I mean, they have a right to do that. They just have to find the Anna. That's all.
Like you just see the TV. What happened to Anna? Like for 10 days he is sitting on the unshan, and what happened with them? That they are making the points, each and every party like the BJP and Congress are giving their stays. What happened to Anna? Like he is facing like
No, let's not go to Anna Hazare.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's get back to what it is.
Way. Like we need a fair justification in this, like fair investigation in this law. Like there is a law, DP3 Act. Like what happened when we are giving a complaint under Dowry Provision Act 3? The policeman just threw it away, like that. Because they does not know about Dowry Provision Act 3. Why?
Well, like
they are not
like
registered that complaints.
My friend was just talking about that lawyers are the one who give the advice. Well, perhaps even the boy's family should go to a good lawyer who can, we guide them, we give the judgments that if there is a dowry,
I have lot of judgments with my complaint.
Case has to be registered against the girl's family also. Yeah, but coming to the rate of conviction as 3 to 4%, coming back to that point. How many of these cases trial was actually carried on in the courts? How many of these cases were compromised? In how many of these cases did people buy the peace, whether the girl's family or the boy's family, or whether the purpose of registration of the case was just to get their dowry articles back? Or in some cases, the compensation which has to be given, that is the law all over the world. Women are given the compensation because they are the ones who have the children, they are the ones who have to stay at home, make the home and all. This is just a little amount given to her.
The only belongs to the woman, not to the man.
No, I'm talking about something different here. Physically, the man does not beget the children. So obviously that would, if it was a woman who would have to give up a career during that period, or it's a compensation amount which is given all over the world.
No,
because
no. I'm just...
quickly, I'm running out of time. Quick point.
Okay. What happened when girls demanding the money for that, for compensation? What happened with the guy's career? Guy's career is also on stake. Like the people are calling criminal to them.
Yeah, and then that's what you're saying. Then put a law in place for the men as well. That's what you need. You need a good lawyer. You need also a good. But Vandana, my last question: do you think we need a deterrent? Do we need a law, a stronger law for the men now?
Yes, laws are always there. I mean, they are certainly there as a deterrent. But the thing is, it's a social problem.
Yes.
And somewhere this realization has to come within people. You know, as she earlier said, as women get more educated, but we also see this trend that education has not really changed enough.
Yes.
I mean, women are educated, at the same time they are more ambitious, and they want everything under the sky.
Mr. Bhupinder Singh, how would you want to say, do you think women are just getting more ambitious and greedy and materialistic, and so they are misusing? What is the percentage?
No, that's all right. You can't do anything about that. But I think now that the Domestic Violence Act has been put into place, but we still haven't put the infrastructure into place in terms of the protection officers, in terms of the service providers, in terms of the counsellors. Now the whole the legislation has been there, but all this requires people, and it requires an infrastructure, and it requires budgetary support, which I don't think so anybody is at the moment willing to do.
And you know, everybody has to go through a little bit of, like, the police need to be reconditioned, rethought, spoken about, counselled on this particular
subject. One of the issues which always comes up is regarding arrest of the accused, that means the husband and his relatives. Now you have n number of cases, as you have seen, some of the most these corruption cases where the arrests have not taken place till the charge sheet has been filed. So here also I think we need to be very sure that instead of going in for what normally happens, the police is pressurized to make arrests for whatever reasons, and then the idea is to have a reconciliation, and then it's the whole although it's not compoundable, it is compounded, and that is why you have this conviction rate of less than 5%.
That's why the conviction rate is very low.
At the end of the day, money changes hands, whichever way. And well, everybody then walks out.
I think I'm going to leave it at that. Well, thank you so much for being with us, but I'm going to close on this very interesting note. Well, especially in a country where even men can think of a semblance of justice only on the power of an influence, women clearly lose out. So though there have been some cases of women misusing laws to get even, it is a fact that stricter protection laws are required, and appellate women courts perhaps is the answer, where women do not have to worry about putting up their case. Well, that's all that we have in today's Prime. Good luck and goodbye.